vegetables and will store for meat. Food is not just bought at the beginning of the week and is used for the rest of the week. Food must be bought daily according to what you're going to use. So not a lot is really wasted. France has established a law that prevents supermarkets from throwing away food. France has established this law in order to help the increase of unemployed and homeless families in France. Italy has passed laws to help donating easier and cheaper for everyone, not just large supermarkets, farmers, and small businesses. And Canada is trying to follow France's footsteps as well to try to reduce food waste and timber.
So the food at school, so Shepherd is provided with a grant from the federal government that provides the students with the meals, so we get them for free. And the Chartwell's food service is the one that provides the meals. And according to Natalie's statement,
Tanya, can you be a little louder? I'm sorry.
Yeah. To develop the Chartwell's food service, students are required to receive a grain and a fruit or vegetable, and that the milk is optional. And so there's about $10,000 worth of food ordered per week. And then 9 out of 10 students claim to throw away parts of the meals that Chartwell requires them to get. And although they're required to get multiple parts to complete the meal, large portions of the meal go to waste daily.
Where did your 9 out of 10 number come from?
We interviewed like students from the classroom, and then I also interviewed like students outside the classroom, just be like we counted up to 10. And, like every 10 we interviewed, at least 9 out of 10 of them said that yes, when they receive lunches in the classroom and in the cafeteria, they usually throw out like the orange or the apple they make them take.
Okay, so our goal was we want to reduce the amount of unconsumed food that is thrown away daily, not just here at school, but in your household and in the community. And we plan to create posters to bring awareness to the problem in school and interview different restaurants to see how much food is wasted. This is Tanya created this poster. We'll hang it around the country.
Right, so basically for the poster, it just says that 1/3 of all the food produced in the U.S. is wasted. And so I just wrote, so it just says take all you can eat and eat all you can take, so that like you don't take more than you know you can finish. And so you can reduce food waste by like buying enough, like only buying what you're gonna eat. And then if you cook more carefully, then you won't like waste more food there. And then if you just save stuff for later, if you're not gonna eat it, that'll waste less too.
So the school solution is that the issue was presented upon the school's lunch supervisor from Natalia City, and it was presented to the head of Chartwell's food service in order to help save money and preserve resources that could be saved and given to better homes. Mrs. Height from Eisenhower School has also presented an idea of giving it to like after school activities like the sports team.
Yeah, so we actually Tanya sent an email to Ms. Height explaining our project, and she's been trying to do kind of the same thing. So she brought the idea up, but it was shut down. And she stated that one of the reasons for all the food waste is because of Michelle Obama's Healthy Lunch Program, which is creating a problem rather than solving one. So she wasn't able to completely be able to donate, but what she was able to, she thought of a different idea, which was give the food waste to an environmental club for compost, or give the food to the school's sports teams.
So obstacles that might stand in the way of letting us donate the food or like opening up a type of food pantry to send food to shelters was that if taxpayers may not approve of this, so like since their money is going to the government and the government is providing the schools with lunches, they might not approve of that their money is going towards this procedure. So that was one of the obstacles, and then another one was safety concerns. So the fresh foods easily go bad, so they might not be as easily transported. And then there's a bill called the Bill Emerson Good Sanitarian Food Donation Act, and this act actually allows donors to donate things without letting them be liable. So if food goes bad, they won't be liable for that. But however, a lot of restaurants and retailers aren't really notified of this, so that's kind of an issue.
So,
we interviewed the Great American Bagel since we heard from Mr. Vazzana that they donated their food, and we just asked them a couple of questions when we called them, and we said, how do you know how much food to make for a day? They replied with, at this location, we do not keep track of the amount because it depends on how busy they are. What happens to any leftover food at the end of the day? The website in itself states that bagels are made fresh and daily, so we kind of investigated on that, and we asked her that they replied with, the food is sometimes donated to churches, events, schools, but sometimes the food is thrown away. The places that are being donated to have to call ahead, and they have to come pick it up from the Great American Bagel. So the Great American Bagel does not deliver it themselves, but the churches and the schools and events have to go get it at the Great American Bagel if they want it to be donated. And we also interviewed the Chick-fil-A, which is kind of scary here. We talked to the Chick-fil-A daytime manager, and we asked them the same question, how much food do you know to make for a day? They replied with, the amount of food depends upon previous sales, the weather, and if there are specific events coming up, such as Christmas or other holiday events, and then we order more, but it still depends on the amount recommended by the Chick-fil-A automatic system run by the assistant director who orders the food. So they just have a system, they plug it in, like the amount of food comes out with the weather and sales from the years past. What happens to any leftover food at the end of the day? Chick-fil-A has a cooling process used throughout the day. Any chicken not sold is cooled and used for other items, such as in chicken noodle soup or chicken salad. So it's used daily. It's cooled in a freezer or cooler and then used for other meals. Anything left over at the end of the day is thrown away. We asked them, would they ever consider donating the food because of how much food is wasted at Chick-fil-A, and they said that they have considered donating, but no one has taken the initiative to do so. At that specific location, they don't donate because they don't have anyone to take care of this organization, so nobody's taking the initiative to ask if they donate, and they really have no one to take care of any food that they want to donate.
We also interviewed the Candy Express employee, which is Kayla, and we asked the same question, how do you know how much food to make for a day? And it said, food is prepared at customers' request and as a portion is game table is finished. At the end of the day, what is done with the leftover food? And food left over after closing is thrown away. Oftentimes, the restaurant tries to ration out the portions distributed when closing to avoid a massive amount of leftovers. However, the majority of the time, a lot of food ends up being thrown out. And would you ever consider donating food? The restaurant's food is non-perishable, and then get home and presented to the board of the restaurant. And then we also interviewed Aubrey, who works at Mariano's, and she works as a cashier and a bagger from 5 p.m. to closing. The schedule allows her to see tons of food thrown out each day. How much food is thrown out daily? An average of 15 untouched bags of food are thrown out each day. What kinds of food are thrown out daily? Multiple goods that could be potentially donated as well.
So potential solutions that have been carried out were examples shown through the interview we had with Frank from class. So we interviewed Frank, who works at Rivera Country Club as a waiter and busboy, and he told us how the untouched food at the end of the day is donated. So the amount of food donated is equivalent to the size of a recycling bin, according to Frank. So examples like they are doing here at Club Banquet are examples that we're trying to kind of enforce to like other restaurants and local supermarkets to do so. Here's a video that shows kind of
We grow and produce enough food for...
Can you turn it down on the... Did you see the remote right there? On the remote, just turn it down to like a 6. So it's the little speaker button.
Oh.
There you go.
everyone on the planet. Yet there are 870 million hungry people on the planet, and 2.5 million children die of malnutrition every year. Worldwide, we produce 27% more food per person today than we did 50 years ago, even as the global population has more than doubled. Yet in Europe and North America, each consumer wastes 210 to 250 pounds of food per year. As millions of people go to bed hungry, half of the food produced in the United States is wasted between the farm and the fork, discarded as a result of the inefficiency in the human-managed food chain. In the U.S., nearly 8% of the food is lost in production. The food industry loses 4%, supermarkets are responsible for 6%, restaurants contribute 15% of the food in the landfills, households throw away nearly 25% of the food they buy. The cost of this waste is about $165 billion annually. That's more than 5 times as much as we spent on foreign economic aid in 2011. This waste doesn't only affect people, the environment suffers from it as well. Did you know throwing away 1 gallon of milk is like throwing away 1,000 gallons of water? That's because it takes that much fresh water to produce 1 gallon of milk. A quarter of our water used for irrigation is used on food that is wasted. So when you throw away your food, you are throwing away all the water that it takes to grow, produce, and ship it as well. On top of that, an estimated 16% of methane emissions from our landfills are caused by food waste. By saving 15% of the food we normally throw away, we can feed more than 25 million Americans every year. If we start paying attention to what we waste, we can end up saving a lot more than just leftovers.
We also had a video from John Oliver. This was really interesting.
About the food we eat. It's a story about the food we don't eat, because there is a surprising amount of it.
A report by the Natural Resources Defense Council says that as much as 40% of all the food produced in the United States never gets eaten.
Americans throw away $165 billion worth of food every year. That's about 20 pounds per person every month.
Americans throw away enough food every year to fill 730 football stadiums.
Food waste is like the band Rascal Flatts. It can fill a surprising number of stadiums, even though many people consider it complete garbage. But between producers, sellers and consumers, Americans are throwing out a third or more of our food, and the amount we throw out has increased by around 50% since the 1970s. At this rate, in 40 years, when you order pizza from Domino's, they'll just deliver it straight to the nearest dumpster. As they should, but that's not the point here. And if you think that this sounds bad, just wait until you see how it looks. Check out this waste dump in California's Salinas Valley.
We got a whole load pretty much of loose organic lettuce. You know, we've got spinach towards the back. Looks like it's perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. We got some kale here. We got broccoli in the back as well. We have plenty of produce to make a salad here.
Oh, not just a salad. You could make a significantly better salad than the salads they actually sell at McDonald's, which look like the trimmings in Ronald McDonald's lawnmower mixed with grimace ejaculates. And the thing is, watching all that food go from farm to not a table is awful for a bunch of reasons. First, and most obviously, there are many people in this country who need that food. In 2013, nearly 50 million Americans lived in food-insecure households, meaning that at some point in the year, they struggle to put enough food on the table. And the fact that we throw away a third of our food gets pretty alarming.
And another reason why we throw it away is because we like food to be aesthetically pleasing. So if a cucumber, say, has bumps or ridges in it, then it isn't pleasing to us and we just leave it and we throw it away or we don't buy it. It has to be smooth, which wastes tons and tons of food if we want it to be a specific color, a specific shape.
Okay, something to take from John Oliver that stood out was that food waste is also a waste of natural resources and labor. farmers can't sell healthy fruit to stores, they won't accept it. People don't really know what about the sell-by date labels on their food, so they often discard it. Companies gazette the sell-by labels often to get you to buy more of their product. Many people think that donating food can lead to being sued, however, that's not true. You're protected from that with the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. Donating food is expensive for many, and large corporations get tax breaks, however, smaller businesses don't.
So we talked to Mr. Dinus about the possibility to prevent the disposal of food in the school, but there's like liabilities and the cost of donating that like kind of don't make it possible here. And so we interviewed Natalie Snyder from Charcoals about donating, and the topic of donating did come up, and she mentioned the possibility of doing it in the future, and that Mrs. Height from Isaac was also aware of the problem, and she's coming up with ideas too.
Things you can do to prevent food waste is plan meals before you go to grocery shopping and only buy what you're going to use. Freeze, preserve, or canned fruits, vegetables. Donate untouched food that you're not going to eat to food banks. Compost food scraps instead of throwing it away. Instead of throwing away that apple or orange at lunch, save it for later or give it to a friend.
Questions for this group? I have a question. So the woman from Chartwell's, what's her name?
Natalia Simple.
Natalia. Did she have any problems with like if you aren't going to eat this fruit, immediately put it in this basket kind of thing? Because I understand with the grants, we need to have, you know, a grain and a fruit or vegetable on every plate. But if it's immediately going to go into the garbage, can it go into a basket and then anybody can come and take that for free so that it is getting eaten? Or is that something that, as part of the grant, is not possible, you know?
We kind of mentioned something like that, but she said it's like really hard to do that, and it wouldn't make sense with the grant and things like that. She said there's a lot of roadblocks to be able to make that happen.
What about if they like don't from the food and don't really about donating to the cooking classes?
That's a good idea. I don't know, we didn't bring that up. That'd be a good idea.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, guys.